Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to SD Productions Gaming, the home of B-Sec. We hope you're all well today, guys. I am, because I've got plenty of Fanta on tap. We are on it today. Good to have you all with us. Sorry, I need a swig. The throat's already hurting, and no, it's not from any of the suspicious activities you may or may not say. Timetable, let's have it, please. Thank you. Oh, Ash, stop with the confidence. I'll stop blushing. You know this. Qualifying practice. Well, the Daytona 100 is about to begin very, very shortly. Alfie has very kindly offered to host for us again. Thank you, Alfie. Thank you, Charlie, as well, who was meant to do that. Internet has played up on him, but he has got that sorted tonight and will be out on circuit with us very, very shortly. I will go through the entry list in a moment. It looks like it, Tom, I'm afraid, mate. It looked like Charlie wasn't going to, but he is now, so I do apologise on that one. And then we have got a 1 hour Daytona 100 race. SDPG Museum, of course, the winners of each race. Alfie yesterday took the double, so his Hondas, he's got two apparently, his Honda will be jumping in the museum. Well, not jumping obviously, but it will make its way into the museum this week at some point. So go and search that one out on Instagram. 24 Racing Series, and Charlie himself are running a 7-round championship. I believe Mason Roth will be doing the commentary. Good evening, everybody. On that one, I will be taking part in this one myself. So if you wish to get involved, give myself or Charlie a message and we'll direct you in the right direction. Pallets Podium Podcast, please go and give that one a search on the old FaceTube and wherever you get your podcast. Thank you, Alfie, for the invitations. And have a listen to episode 1, episode 2. We should hopefully be doing that this week. Myself and Riley Davis host that one, and we talk all things BSB, bike racing, and of course, esports. Now, this is for Kalen out there. Can we all appreciate this screenshot? Kalen, you're going to like this, mate. Oh, have it! Look, I mean, look at the quality on that. I mean, leg dangle, flamethrower. It's almost like he does this for a living. There we are, so there you go. What a picture. That is incredible. I don't want to blow smoke up his backside, but very well done, Kalen. That's very, very good indeed, my mate. So there we are. Could be photo of the year, that. I'll just get myself in shot. Also, big thank you to Malted and Ted for kissing us out with exclusive hats. I have got a couple of designs for you. We've got this one, which is amazing, isn't it? And I don't think they do this one anymore. No, they don't, because this one's dirty. That's going to get me in trouble with the boss. Well, so if you do want a Malted cap, please message Ted, because, like I mentioned yesterday, we do have a deal going. If he sells another 9,900 and however many to go, I'll get his Mercedes. So, and Ted is absolutely loaded, so it's a good Mercedes as well. He's not going to appreciate that. Sorry, Ted. Right, let's try and get all the rubbish out of the background. Joe's loading up now. Fantastic news. What are we thinking? Fanta Fruit Twist? What's everyone's thoughts whilst I go down the entry list? So tonight, we've got a newbie joining us. We've got Ducksworth joining us. First ever meeting with SDPG. We wish all the riders all the very best of luck. We've got Kyle riding on the Malta Yamaha. Ducksworth on the BMW KMG Industrial Services BMW, as well as Mason Roth on that one. Then we've got Charlie on the SDPG Ducati, no pressure son. Alfie also on a Ducati on the Wood Racing Machine. Kalen on the Kawasaki MLD backed bike. Then we've got Ted on the Malted R5L Yamaha, as well as Kyle. Mason Roth on the BMW KMG Industrial Services bike. Mogsy on the MLD Kawasaki as well. Joe on the Suzuki, good choice, like that. On the VLR Racing Suzuki. Let's get the teeth in. Jamie on the BMW. We don't need to say any more. That is a good combination. That has worked in the past. As all you SDPG fans will know, that's worked very well in the past. Keep an eye out for Jamie in this one. And George on the Wood Racing Ducati as well. I think you'll all agree that's quite competitive. Yeah, a very competitive lineup. And I'm glad I'm not in the middle of that lot. Because, yeah, the ego could not take a hit. Oh, here we go. Is Kalen getting the excuses in already? He's had no practice. I don't believe you, mate. I do, actually. Let's not be calling people liars. That's how we lose friendships. It's like Mogsy with no setup. I see what you did there, mate. Mind games. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. Now, big respect to MLD. They are riding the Kawasaki, and yeah, neither of them are hanging about. Actually, let's just cut that. Let's have the whole MLD squad. Rapid. Exquisite stuff, really. I'm trying to use some bigger words as well, just to make myself sound a bit more proper and professional. It's not going well. I mean, it might be a load of rubbish, but we're trying. Look at this, Ash with the bits. Thank you very much, mate. Appreciate that. I haven't got the chat on the laptop, so I'm having to use the old mobile device for that one. That was very camp, wasn't it? There we are. Yes, Alfie, love that, mate. Running 0 traction, anti-wheelie, engine brake. What could go wrong? What? Oh my goodness gracious, mate. Ash again with the bits. Appreciate that, mate. Thank you very much. If you would like to subscribe to the channel, you get it's ad free, so you can be stuck with this for like the full duration of the stream. I think you can get a free subscription with if you've got Amazon Prime. And then I don't know how much it is to subscribe because we've been off the air for quite a while. So I do apologise. We are not professional, but cheap and available. As you can see by my unironed shirt. I literally found this about 5 minutes before popping on stream because the other one was a bit tight. Joe, yes, Joe's riding. Alfie, yep. I love Charlie's humour. It's fantastic. For those of you that can't see the chat, but that's cool, Alfie. I'm running a bike with 2 wheels in it. Oh dear. What a start to the night. We're going to have a good night, everybody. MLD, thank you for the bits there, chaps. Appreciate that. See, all these compliments I'm giving them, it's being returned. Appreciate that, lads. And you should see their bikes, actually. I'm not bigging them up, but typical Mogsy and MLD, they look stunning. I'm halfway through this can already. Absolutely ridiculous. It's like juice, like holy water. Oh, we're getting ready. Oh, everybody, let's get excited. Come on. I am so excited for this. I'm buzzing. Yes. I'm just, yeah. There might be a whole load of gobbledygook come out tonight, but hey, we're here. MLD again with the bits. Appreciate that, chaps. That best looking rider's on the grid and all. Woohoo! Easy, Tiger. Easy, Tiger. There is 3 Ducatis, George. SDPG team. They're snuck in with Charlie. That, as we've described, that's like PBM and Shaky Burn. Just works, really. We're happy with Charlie. Charlie's happy with us. It's a win-win. Now, I will apologise to everybody out there. His leathers are not looking factory. That is because they were done by me, and I didn't have much time. Because me and Dill were having a game of snooker. So, blame Dill, actually, for that. And I'm rubbish with leathers. So, oh, Mason Roth invited me as well. Appreciate that, chaps. See, good people at STPG. Real good people. I'm really looking forward to seeing who does what here. This could be like the most competitive racing we see all year. He says at the first event of the year. Right, okie dokie, we should be just about ready to rock and roll. Everyone stretch their leathers. Chaps, please remember. Thank you very much, Alfie. Right, we're on it. Please remember to leave out of the pit lane. Thank you very much. Appreciate your faces. And let's do this. Oh yes, let's get the mug off. Let's get the action. Let's get the action on. Pow! Oh, look at that. Smooth transition, everybody. Right, here we go. 20-minute qualifier then, ahead of the main 1-hour Daytona 100 event. Hopefully we'll have no issues. If we have 11 people here, I'm like going to scream. Ah! Like that. I'm not really. I'm just going to be like... I'm so proud of my community. Oh my god, I'm so proud of you all. Absolutely incredible stuff. Thank you, chaps. Okay, we're underway then. With this one, the Wood Racing Ducatis are some of the first bikes out onto surface. Look at the... See, this is what I mean about MLD stuff. Look at that. Just crisp, clean, just, oh, scintillating. If you want another team that's looking... I mean, here you go. Another good-looking outfit there. There's no bad-looking bikes, actually. Let's just cut the bull snot. There is no bad looking bike on this grid, as we're about to prove here with the Malted R5L Yamaha of Super Ted and Kyle as well. Hopefully these guys will be making an appearance in the World Endurance Championship, which we will be running this year. So we'll get... Oh, hey up, what's happened here? Oh, we got a technical for Charlie. Oh no, please tell me that's not what I think it is. He's going! Thank God, he panicked me there. He did that on purpose. He threw a bike at us yesterday, and he did that to get the boss's heart racing. I like your style, Charlie. Right then, here we go. Now, you won't be able to see the how long's left in the session. That is due to a glitch in the game. But Mogsy then will be the first rider to complete a lap, as long as he keeps his rubber side down. Or is that someone ahead of him, actually? Let me just have a quick check on that one. Mason Roth is up ahead. And we'll have a look at Ducksworth in just a moment. Let's get Mason Roth then on the KMG Industrial BMW. Sorry, KMG Industrial Services BMW. Get your facts right, Seamus. Number 36 then. Can he have a good result here? Let's go through some of the stats then whilst the early laps are being set. Now we have at SDPG we do keep a log on all the riders' stats, so their race finishes, wins and podiums. And I can tell you Charlie's topping that one. Well, certainly topping the race finishes on 130 race finishes for Charlie. Mason Roth on your screen has got 112, 8 wins and 28 podiums with SDPG, which is fantastic, and he's also joint on finishes with Super Ted, who's got 16 wins and 44 podiums for the Super 1. So we'll see if any of those riders can get themselves on the podium tonight. As through the chicane then, and on towards the second bank for Mason Roth. Of course, we don't use the oval circuit here at Daytona. We will be using the little infield section as well, just keep it nice and technical. I don't think it matters where you are on the grid. Well, obviously it does matter, but it's not as important as somewhere like a Cadwell Park, because obviously this is an endurance race. Things will happen. It's an hour-long race, so these guys don't need to be rushing into turn 1 and on lap 1 and causing an incident. But we start off then with a 140.2 from Mason Roth, and 139.143 for Alfie. Goes top of the times. Won both races yesterday in the Supersport category, did Alfie, so a big well done to him. Had a good battle with Mogsy though in that second race. If you did miss that one, it is over on the old face tube, so go and check that one out. Good evening, Scotty Too Hotty. Hope you are well, my friend. As through. Now, I am a bit rubbish with the corner names, so please bear with me. I will do my best to just... I'll tell you what, we'll just talk about the you-know-what, because that's what we're good at around here. So as the opening times then are on the board, let's have a look then and see who's done what. It is Alfie topping this one ahead of Mason Roth. Super Ted 140.7 P3K, then also on a 140.747. Ted's done a 140.717, so pretty close between those two. A 142.683 then for Charlie. Kyle on 142.7. Ducksworth on a 144.5, maybe a slight mistake on that opening. Just letting himself in. Jamie's had it. Well, hey, that's a small off there for Jamie. He's A-OK and back on his Machinista in P9 at the moment. Front row Joe on the Suzuki 148.6. And George not set in that time yet. Now, a lot of these names, if you were watching SDPG back last year in 2025, I know it seems a long time ago now, you will recognise some of these names from the Superbike category. Actually, most of them would be the MLD boys that weren't in in STP. I'll tell you what, the MLD boys haven't done many races with us, but they are pretty quick, if I may say so, as they just go and prove that by second and third. Mr. Duggins on the Yamaha. We are truly back at SDPG in court, of course, Scott. I've tried to lure him away and get him to Ducati, but he's just not having it, which is quite rude, really. Him and Charlie would be a good partnership. Of course, we hopefully have Brett 4B set, but we will cross that bridge when we get to it. As Super Ted there in P6 improves his time just by a few hundredths on that lap. Mason Roth leaving the pits. Now you may see some crashes on pit exit and cones go flying. That is due to a glitch in the game. I tell you what, the debutant has gone to the top, everybody. Ducksworth 138.201 for the KMG Industrial Services BMW there. Top of the time. That's a pretty strong lap already from Ducksworth. I can tell you Mogsy was doing I think he did a 137 in practice. The stream might be a bit laggy, people. I do apologise for that one. It should hopefully catch up very, very shortly with a bit of luck. If not, then that's a problem. It's thinking about it. Oh no, it's getting worse. Okay, we'll just carry on anyway, and hopefully that will sort itself out. So as things stand then, it is Ducksworth, Mogsy and Alfie on that front row. 139.1 for Alfie. Got a little bit of time to find. We've got Caden on a 139.9 in P4 ahead of Charlie on a 140 flat. And then Mason Loft not too far behind Super Ted and Kyle, the two Yamahas, in P7 and 8. George in P9 at the moment. Front row Joe in P10 and Jamie just struggling with things at the moment. But let's not count Jamie out. He is a Superbike champion for a reason on a BMW, so expect Jamie to be shooting up to the front row very, very shortly. That's all I'm saying. Ducksworth third, keeps well out of the way of his fellow riders, and we go once again. Let's just hit the pause menu. We've still got 12 minutes left of this session. As Mogsy there just a bit wide through the chicane. Ted has jumped up to P4 there, 139.4. That's very good going actually on the Molten R5L Yamaha. Good performance that from Super Ted if you can keep this one going. Now watch out into turn 3 when we go racing a little later on. I think was that Kyle there just nipping out the pits. That was a bit of a crash point last night. A few riders were tipping off at turn number 3, so we'll keep an eye on that one when we go racing in a wee while, pet. There we are. I tell you what, Scott, I do agree actually. You've done a good job with those, mate. See, this just shows, right, doesn't it, how much talent we've got at SDPG. I'm not talking just about the riding, but the liveries as well. The hours, the time that goes into these liveries, to think of the ideas, to put them together, is truly remarkable. And we've got a lot of talented people in a lot of talented areas, I'd say. That makes no sense, but we roll with that one. So yeah, there you are. You know what I'm trying to say. A lot of people are very talented. That's why they're SDPG. And then there's me, the headship. Yeah, I know. Not good really, is it? Oh, well in there for Kyle, just keeping out the way of Super Ted as Ted goes through the chicane. 138.5 for Alfie, has improved his time and not far behind Mogsy on that ZX10. Now, fair play, Scott. Fair play. Same here, mate. Same here. Common sense is boring. Now I can tell you, if MLD win tonight, that will be the second Kawasaki win in the SD. Well, in the history of SDPG. There we are. The first one was Tyler back in our BSB Esports series, the very first series we ran on the channel. Tyler got the win at Donington Park, if I'm not mistaken. So there we are. If MLD can top the times and top the race a little later on, then they will go down in history. There we are. We're still Ducksworth leading this one then on a 138.201. Looking very tidy there. So's the bike, looking splendid. How's Jamie getting on then? A 141.772 for the number 86. Luckily, with this game, we can see previous best lap times on the right-hand side, ladies and gents, and also what sector they're in, what lap they've done, and what position they're in. But that just shows how competitive this field is. Jordan on a 141.661, Kyle on a 141.0. As things stand, front row Joe on a 140.662. Good effort that from Joe. Now, of course, with this race being an hour long, the tyres are not going to last, so we're going to need some fuel stops, and that is another part of this race. It is all about strategy. Do you go aggressive in the first stint to try and get an advantage, get the gap? And what tyres do you go on? It's all going to be a strategic gamble here. It's going to be very interesting to see what the different teams and riders do and how they figure out the race, because it's not going to be easy. An hour long for these guys. An hour long race, ladies and gents. Now, you try staring at a screen for an hour when you're trying to be competitive as well. No thanks. I'll do the organising of that, but I will not ride in that, because that sounds like hell. But I have done it before, and it's actually not too bad, to be fair. But hopefully the riders have a good race, and we wish them all the very best as well. Jamie's jumped up the order, just in a little bit further back, P9 for Jamie as things stand. But this endurance racing, anything can and probably will happen. Again, strategy will come into this as we go a little later on. Now, I have done some testing with a few of the riders, and I can tell you the undercut might be quite big here. There could be an advantage if you do pit early. So we'll see what happens. Is Alfie there on an improvement lap time? Oh, look at that! Woohoo! I think Alfie's trying. What do you reckon? Also, a big shout out to Alfie as well for his helmet design in memory of Owen Jenner. It was 1 year today when we lost Owen Jenner and Shane Richardson in that terrible accident at Bolton. But you guys are still well and truly in our thoughts. As Alfie then, into the chicane. Oh, dearie me. Oh, was that Mogsy going down as well at the chicane? It was indeed. 2 for the price of 1. The chicane has claimed. Ted now coming up towards the chicane. Just right on board with the Yamaha. Clatters the curb on the inside. Nice and patient on the throttle, because if you just give it a little bit too much power too early, you will be on the grass. And yeah, that's a bit of a problem. There's not much grip on the grass. There we are. I'll say it properly. Right, tyre wear as well. Look at Ted, 54% left on that rear tyre. Let's have a check on the tyre situation. Mogsy's on 46, so the best of the tyres have certainly dropped off now. So we might not see too many improvements as we go throughout the remainder of this session. Joe there just in behind Alfie. Let's have a look then at Kalen as he heads on towards the banking. We'll have a look at Charlie in just a sec as well, who has jumped up to P4. As I say that, let's have a look then at the number 20. 138.874 for Charlie. Great effort that. And only a few tenths away from the front row of the grid on the number 20. Aiming for the podium tonight. We'll see how we go. The endurance racing is more Charlie's style. Charlie likes to build into a race, and we'll get quicker as the race goes on, but he's very good as Charlie at the long races, so we'll keep an eye on his progress as we go. Now, of course, Ducksworth is new to most of us, and we wish him all the very best, and looking like he could be on pole position at the moment. Provisional pole is going the way of Ducksworth on the BMW. As he heads in towards the chicane now, the number 7 through the left, through the right. Oh, just got the rear a little out of shape. They're overloaded the front and down he goes. That is unlucky for Ducksworth, but he will go again. How long have we got left in the session? We've still got 6 minutes, so plenty of time. Maybe another 3 or 4 laps for the riders in this one. And Mogsy's had a crash there on the banking. That's not ideal. That is not good there for Mogsy again. Like we say, if you didn't miss last night's action, please go and check that one out. It was Alfie versus Mogsy in that second race. It was toing and throwing Kawasaki versus Honda. Great race. I was trying to get highlights reel sorted, but that hasn't gone to plan either. So yeah, a bit of a shame, but please go and check that one out. It is on YouTube. If you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel, go and head over there and go and subscribe. We are going to aim to get all of our events for 2026 up on YouTube for you guys to watch back whenever pleases you. There we go. So still Ducksworth, Mogsy and Alfie on that front row of the grid. We've got BMW, Kawasaki and Ducati on the front row. Second row sees Charlie, Ted and Kalen. That's Ducati, Yamaha and Kawasaki on the second row. Then we've got George on the Ducati, 140.1 for him in P7 on the Ducati. Then BMW Mason Roth, 140.2, and Joe on the Suzuki at 140.662. On the back row at the moment, it is Jamie and Kyle, a 140.688 for Jamie on the BMW, and also Kyle on the Malted R5L Yamaha, 141.0. Times are pretty close between these lot. There's no one that's drastically off the pace. They're all there or thereabouts. It's small improvements. Brake that little bit later, get on the gas that little bit sooner, and you might find a tenth or two each corner. As Charlie now heads out onto circuit, did his best lap on that last lap as he leaves the pits now and go for one more run at it. As we say that, Alfie now jumps up to P2, 138.367. Ducksworth then in the pits, and Alfie just a tenth and a half shy of Ducksworth. As down he goes, as he clipped the cone there that was very inconveniently put in the middle of the circuit. No one will have done that on purpose. Oh, okay, yep, let me have a look. Wow. this just sort of shows what a good community we've got here, right? So I've just had a message from Ducksworth. Mate, your sportsmanship is second to none. That's some of the best I've ever seen in my life. To be honest with you, that's very honest, and I appreciate that, mate. So Ducksworth said, I'll pull over to the left at race start. I missed the whole bus stop. I got 0.2 penalty and gained about a second, so I'll start from the back if that's okay. Absolutely, mate. No problem at all. I really appreciate your honesty there, mate. That's, yeah. See what I mean? That's... We're more than a community here, and that's, if you are looking to get involved, please come and join us. We are more than a community. We're one big band of brothers, really. Friendship groups have been formed here. I rate all the lads. That's fair as well. I'm happy for whoever wins the race. There's no favourites here. Of course, I'm close with Ted, but I just give him a load of, you know what. And same with Dylan. But it's all fun. It's all fun, and I really do appreciate the lads' support. It's been 5 months since we were actually on stream last with esports. Look at these two, the wood racing chaps, proving the point. Look at this, across the stripe we go. And good sportsmanship is what we like to see. So Ducksworth there being an absolute gent, and will be put. So chaps, if you hopefully you can all hear me, Ducksworth will be pulling over to the left hand side. Please don't crash into him, otherwise I'll shout at you on stream. No, I'm joking. Yes, so he's going to let you all through, and then he's going to crack on. And, well, I reckon he could do okay here. Oh, as down he goes. We'll just... we'll have a look at some of the pit. Let's go down the order one more time. How long we got left? We've got 2 minutes remaining of this one. If I am coughing a bit, ladies and gents, please do bear with me. I am recovering from a chest infection. I know it sounds really awful, and I'm bigging that one up, but it's not been very nice at all. So I do apologise. So I might get a bit croaky towards the end of this one as well. So it is Ducksworth on top then, but the pole sitter, well, it will be starting from P1, but we'll drop to the back. Alfie will be... I'll tell you what, let's just go down the order as it is. So Ducksworth, Alfie and Mogsy front row. Charlie, Ted and Kaylin on row number 2. Then we've got George, Mason Roth and front row Joe. Then we've got Jamie and Kyle rounding out the order. Look at this, nice little group there. We've got Jamie, is that Mason? It is indeed. Oh, Mason, they're getting that a little bit hot and bothered. No, getting that a little bit wrong into turn 3 there. See, this is what I mean, right? So Mason's just being sensible. I was about to beat him up then. Let's not be doing that. I was about to say being sensible and letting his fellow riders through. But instead he's going to just stop there and, yeah. Maybe do a practice start, actually. That's what he's doing. Didn't quite read the regs, but it's okay. We'll let him off this time. Oh, dearie me. That's Kyle there, just keeping out of the way of everybody. I think everyone's pretty much done for this one. Here we go. Demonstration. Alfie's keeping well out of the way of Mogsy on the Kawasaki, who's going to go for one last attempt on the big ZX10. Can he make this one work for him? Well, let's go through turn 5, the West Horseshoe. I can just see it. So unfortunately, the corner of my laptop is covering the minimap and the weather and everything else. So I'm struggling to see corner names. Yeah. Now also, it depends on how fast the time will be going by, as checkered flag is now out for qualifying. We may even get into the night time. If it's an hour-long race, I'm hoping that's not going to be the case, but you never know. That will be another factor that we'll just factor in. It's absolutely fine. So, for those of you that don't know, ladies and gents, I've had to be invited... Oh, down goes Mogsy there, clips the grass. Down he goes at the chicane. I've had to be invited into the sessions because we don't have race director mode on this game at the moment. So... Oh, excuse me. So, people having to invite me and I'm having to spectate, so... The host will determine whether, etc, etc, etc. So, there we go. And I will chuck my mug on for you lot to be scared. Ah! Hey, got you! Actually, screenshot the results, Seamus. That's probably a good idea, to be fair. Because we are also tracking lap records as well, because we're on a new platform. We are going to keep an eye on the lap records, etc, etc. There we are. That's bloody good. If you've never had a Fanta fruit twist and you like Fanta, get on that, is all I'm saying. Right, put my feet up now. I better not show you my feet. You'll, I know there's some, yeah. I don't want them on the internet. Who knows? You can have my knees instead. I'm trying to think of some Ted jokes because, yeah. That's a bit of a feature as well. Bad singing, jokes from Ted, business advertising, great commentary, good racing, done. That was a bit camp, wasn't it? Oh, cracking of the wrist. Oh, God. No, I've set Ash off. No. Oh, God. Oh, dear. Let's quickly move on. Send help. Ash and Aaron are... I was going to say, the jokes are not bad. Sometimes. I mean that in the nicest possible way. No worries, George. Yep, go for a comfort break. George ready up? No, they shall return, oh dear. Tell you what, whilst we're waiting, I'll just stick up the 2026 calendar for you guys. This is what we've got coming up for you this year. Now, chaps, I do need to have a bit of a word with you guys to see if we want to move the 24th, 25th Northwest 200 and the first round of the Endurance, because obviously the TT is on, and I know you guys will probably be over there sunning yourselves watching some road racing. So I'll put the feelers out there in the Discord and we'll sort something out, because then what's just taking my entries really. Bloody TT lot. Unbelievable, Jeff. Bloody hell, George has got back from the toilet quick. Gordon Bennett. So remember, chaps, Ducksworth will be pulling over to the left hand side, so do not crash into him. Please and thank you, appreciate you. Okie dokie. Are we ready for a 1 hour race? Oh dear. Here we go then. The 1 hour is underway. The Daytona 100 is go. What a start that was from Mogsy. Great effort there from Ducksworth, keeping well out of the way, and has dropped to the back of the pack. Nothing silly here, lads. Nothing silly. Charlie's hit the wall. Charlie has crashed there. That's what he has done. Kalen, was that up into third? No, that was... hang on. Yep, it is Kalen in third. We're having some transponder issues. They'll sort themselves out. About now. There we are. Lovely stuff. George has washed his hands, everybody. That is good to know. And Kalen's got the glitch where he's getting a 3.6 second penalty for doing nothing. Same for Joe. Ted, they're down in P6. We'll go down the order in just a second. Ducksworth already up to P8. Not hanging around. Mason Roth in P9. Kyle in 10th. And Charlie, they're having a bit of a mishap in the opening stages of this one. Out the back. But this is a long race, this one, ladies and gents. The Daytona 100. Why is it called the Daytona 100? I hear you ask. Well, it is called that because we are trying to do 100 miles in length, and I don't think we've quite achieved that. But anyway, let's get back to this battle. It's Mogsy versus Alfie. Take two. Let's have a look. Ducati versus Kawasaki this time. Look at the speed of the Ducati there with a bit of slipstream. MLD Kawasaki second and third at the moment. Now we've got to keep an eye on the fuel. We can see that. Of course, on the left-hand side, the percentage next to little fuel station thingy, the bob fuel pump actually shows. Get it right. So we can see how aggressive they're going with the fuel. Obviously, the more the percentage drops, the higher the fuel maps will probably be. And we can all see everyone has gone for the hard tyre combination, apart from Charlie at the back, who's gone for a hard front, soft rear. As we complete lap number 1 then, and it is Alfie leading this one ahead of Mogsy. Kalen's got some company in the form of George, who lifts him up there, quite literally. Through turn number 1. George runs wide though, and Kalen is there to pick up the pieces. Ted's had a little bit of a moment a little bit further back there, like a bucking bronco. Oh, down goes Kalen. Yes, this is what we saw yesterday. Porsche in the front end, down the riders go. Was that Ducksworth making a move there on Joe? No, it wasn't. It was Mason Roth. Down goes Ducksworth there. Clips the curbing there, I believe. Down he has gone high slightly. It's a long way to go, though. Absolutely long way to go. As we see, oh, Super Ted now slides out at turn number 5. Jamie now up into P4. Good start there from Jamie towards the back of the grid. And he is going to try and put the pressure on George. Down goes Jamie now. Few mistakes happening early on in this one. Kalen now in P5. George in that third place, but already these front few guys are spread out quite a bit here. Again, strategy will come into this. Who's being a bit more aggressive with the fuel? Well, we can see that Alfie and Mogsy are certainly being aggressive on the old fuel. So is Mason Roth. Now, watch out for Mason running out of fuel. He's quite good at that in endurance racing. Sorry, Mason, didn't mean that, mate. But he's got the least fuel at the moment on 79% as Mason Roth. Who's got the most? We're looking at Joe Ted on the 84% mark. So maybe they've just got their bikes on eco mode. Good start that from Joe, actually, on the VLR Racing Suzuki. It's Ted now down the inside. Yep, nicely done from Ted. Look at the speed of the Suzuki there from Joe. Bit of a slipstream. And through he goes. Is he going to get Kalen into tow? Look at this! Ted also getting dragged along with the slipstream and has got back past Joe. Has he? Joe going to fight this one out round the outside. Oh, lovely that from both of them. Just keeping distance between each other. And Jamie there, not far behind these guys as well. Goes in a bit hot, stands the bike up there. Does not want to risk a crash. He'll lose a few seconds, but it's better than tipping off the machine. Ted also looked like he went a bit wide at turn number 3 and now back behind Joe. Ooh, on the grass there, I'm not watching that. Meanwhile, as we go back towards the front of the field, Mason Roth is starting to put the pressure on George. BMW versus Ducati, 140.7 for Mason on that first flying lap versus 141.3 for George. As the BMW got the pace to live up to the 2025 Ducati? That is the question. But out front then, it is still Alfie leading this one by a good couple of seconds. It just takes one mistake in endurance racing, so Mogsy's doing a good thing here. Just keeping the pressure on a little bit, keeping that gap round. I'm going to say it's about 2-3 seconds. It's just enough to keep Alfie honest here. One mistake, it's an hour-long race, as we've said. An hour-long race in endurance racing is not easy. A 139.6 for Alfie on the opening tour round. Pretty good going for the Ducati, and across the stripe he goes now. There's a 139.0, 139.8 for Mogsy on that one. 141.4 for George. Mason bangs in another 140.391, so he is going to close that gap to George here. Just again, apply the pressure. Will George buckle though? That is the question. Kalen, fastest lap for him on a 140.3. Nicely done for Kalen. Looks like Mason went a little bit wide there. Oh, Joe's gone grass tracking. And that's promoted Ted up into P6. Charlie also going grass tracking as well on the Ducati, starting to make his way back through. 139.2 there for Charlie. He's going to be carving his way through. I'll tell you what, that is the second fastest lap of the race. Keep an eye on Charlie. Let's keep it clean, sunshine, and we may be making some progress. Ducksworth in P10 at the moment, just behind Jamie. Again, building into the race. It's endurance racing, like we say. Strategy, crashes, is all going to come into play. As Jamie there takes the wall as he heads onto the banking surface. We'll keep an eye on Charlie's progress on the Ducati as well, one of our suspected front runners. But let's get back to the battle for third then, as we go with Mason Roth and George Wood Racing Ducati versus the KMG Industrial Services BMW of Mason Roth. Onto the banking now. I would have thought the Ducati might just have a little bit more top end over the BMW 2025 model for the Ducati, but slipstream will play a big part in this one. As here we go then, Mason eyeing up a move into turn 1. Is he bit of slipstream? And across the stripe we go. 139.9 from Mason. That's his fastest lap of the race. A PB for him. George not going to give this one up without a fight. Slams the door, locks it as well. Runs a bit wide. Mason. Oh yes, on the drift. Very nice. Mason Roth now does take P3 ahead of George. Oh, contact there. And George has shoved Mason Roth into the stands there. Mason will not be very happy about that one, understandably. That one will be reviewed after the race, I would have thought, by race control. You never know. Kalen now up into P4. Holy mother of God. That was close, wasn't it? George just shutting off here. See, this is what I mean. Look at that. Good sportsmanship there. I think George might have just backed off ever so slightly just to lose a bit of time. Potentially. I don't know. Let's have a look then at the fuel situation. Looks like George, Ted and Joe are doing the best with that, and Kyle as well. The most is 59% for Joe. As here comes George now. All over the back of the Kawasaki of Kalen. Kalen late on the brakes there. Oh, look at that. Oh, George getting the elbows out. Good and proper. We had a fall. I think Jamie might have just dropped off the BMW down to P10 there. Kawasaki versus Ducati now in the battle for P3. Where's the Yamaha Super Ted? Not far behind. Oh, look at that. Smell the exhaust fumes. To that one. And here we go then. Let's see. Will George make a move into turn 1? He was strong there on the last lap. Round the outside. Kalen's not going to give this one up without a fight. No, thank you. Into turn 1, and Ted's licking his chops with the popcorn out, saying, oh, come on, have a scrap, chaps. Oh, dearie me. George has really got them elbows out, hasn't he? Kalen now bumped wide, and that's allowed Ted up into P4. Good start to the race for the Yamaha. Let's have a look at lap times then. Someone's just dropped down. I think that might have been Joe that's just dropped down the order there, down to P8. Let's have a look at times. 39.0, best lap there for Alfie. 38.6 for Mogsy. He's now starting to get into his pace. Look at that. Mid 39s into the 38s on lap 4. He's going there. 38.6. Looks like the fastest lap of the race. 40.9 for George. A 39.8 for Ted. A 40.2 for Kalen, who runs wide there. Mason Roth. 39.9. 39.2 for Charlie. 40.8 for Joe. 39.5 for Ducksworth. Again, getting into the race nicely. 41.4 for Jamie. And a 41.8 for Kyle on this one. Looks like just a bit of a tip off the dog leg there. So then, I'll just go and keep the controller away from the microphone. I do apologise, ladies and gentlemen. Just hear me clicking in the background, just flicking through the various riders. So it is status quo out front then. Mogsy just a little bit too far back to do anything about Alfie, but this battle for third is still going to be raging on. Who's going to blink first? Well, it looks like Kalen's going to, have to blink first with the fuel, because he's got the lowest out of the three here. Let's see, Kawasaki versus Yamaha. You would have thought the Kawasaki would be a little bit stronger than the Yamaha in terms of straight line pace, and George there has managed to break the slipstream of Ted. But look at that on the brakes. Ted will close the gap, and look at Kalen. Oh, we've had our first pit stop, everybody. Charlie is in the pits on the SDPG Ducati. We'll have a look and see what the strategy is. It will be full fuel tank. And what tyres are going for? Kalen down the inside. Contact there with Ted. Yes, I know you might have seen Ted go about 3 foot in the air. That is something that Milestone are working on at the moment, trying to make the realism of online racing, well, a bit more realistic. So there we are. Kalen will not do that intentionally. He's a very clean rider. He's the number 25. None of these guys will take each other out on purpose. As George there takes himself to the car park on that one, and that's allowed Ted and Kalen back up into third and fourth respectively. George there will take a tight line onto the banking, try and get the run on the Kawasaki. RG Barty. George has really got them elbows out here in this one, and we have completed just over 10 minutes of this race. The opening 10 minutes are done. Now Kalen in the slipstream. Oh, George, that Ducati's strong though. It's got a lot of punch in a straight line. Who will be first to pit then out of the leading, well, the leading 5? Okay, probably going to have to be Kalen and Alfie there, maybe Mogsy as well. Ted's probably going to be able to go another lap or two longer. Same for George, actually. They've looked after their fuel very well. Mason Roth will also be boxing very, very shortly. We hope for his second. Look at that. He's caught up to the back of these guys as well. Now, these guys have been scrapping. That's allowed the number 36, the KMG Industrial Services BMW, to close the gap. We've now got a 4-way battle. Oh! Contact there between George and Ted. That means George has taken a bit of a topple off there. Ducksworth in the pits, he's gone for the soft tyres there, and potentially a full fuel tank. Whereabouts is Charlie? About to cross the line over the stripe. He now goes and will pass Ducksworth, I believe. Where's Ducksworth? Yep, just coming out of the pits now. So the first two riders have boxed for tyres and fuel. As we have a look now a little bit further up the order. So here we go then. We've now got Kalen, Ted, and Mason Roth. George looking to close that gap down. Ducksworth still in the pits, just be leaving the pits now. Here we go then. Oh, look at this! Great stuff between these guys. I'm sure Mason will have to box this lap. As you can see, the bike will be shouting at him, fill me up with fuel, please. Right, Mason, don't miss pit entry, please, mate. We don't need to run out of fuel. This might actually work out well for Mason, because like we said earlier, that undercut can be quite powerful around here. Oh, look at this. Here we go. Oh, typical. The stream will start lagging now. Yes, nice one, Mason. Mason Roth will box then from P5. And we'll let his fellow competitors go. Jamie will probably be one of the next to box. I would have thought we'll be seeing the top 3 in at the end of this lap. Maybe the next one, depending on how well they keep their fuel. But it is. Alfie still leading this one on the Wood Racing Ducati. Ahead of Mogsy on the MLD Motorsport Kawasaki. And then a little bit further back, we've got Kalen and Super Ted. MLD Kawasaki and Malted R5L Yamaha respectively. Wood Racing Ducati for George in P5. Joe in P6 on the VLR Racing Suzuki. And we have got riders in the pits then. Mason Roth leaving the pits now as Charlie crosses the line. This will be close actually. Jamie in the pits as well. Same for Kyle. I think. Oh, interesting strategy there. Jamie's kept the same front tyre as what he had same for Kyle. I rate it. I respect that a lot. Right, and Charlie has now. Has he managed to get the undercut there on Mason Roth? Side by side. No, Mason just leaves the pits ahead of him. That's a good stint though from Charlie. He's now on the back of Mason, who was in that fight for third, let's not forget. So if these two can now work together, that might be a-okay. Mason's probably in the better position here because he's had to obviously fill up a little bit later on in the race. So he will be in a better position than Charlie, I would have thought. Right, these lot are all going to have to come in. Here we go then. It's fuel time for these guys. Alfie into the box. Mogsy there looks like he's got a little bit lost, but he's okay. He's in the pit lane. He's in the pit lane. Caleb will also make a pit stop now. Ted's probably going to go for a one, maybe two more, probably one more lap. Sorry, let's have a drink there. And the Malted R5L Yamaha does take the lead of this one, ahead of George. Now, let's not forget Mason and Charlie, who were on the back, and also Kalen as well. Those guys are going to get their tyres up to temperature, and then they should be a-okay. It might take them a couple of corners just to get them tyres up to the optimum working window, and then they will be on it. Burning off some of that fuel as Joe now into P3 as Alfie leaves the pits. Same for Mogsy there, and Kalen just leaving the box now as we get Charlie across the line with Mason Roth in tow. So it's going to be interesting to see how far away they come out behind Kalen. Kalen's probably going to have another, probably about, I'm going to say about 5-6 seconds advantage over these guys. Can we see Kalen? Oh, he's there. I tell you what, it's going to be very close. As Kalen now heads out onto the circuit, just ahead of Charlie and Mason Roth. Good stint that from Charlie. Maybe that boxing early tactic might just favour him. Looks like George has just turned up the fuel usage and the fuel map to full power. He wants full whiskey out of that Ducati because he's just burning through a bit of fuel now. Meanwhile, Ted will have to box this lap, I would have thought, unless he thinks he can go one more. But I think the bike will start screaming at him any minute now. So your top 3 then are in the best position in this race. They have left it nearly 20 minutes to box. They've done about 17 minutes before they've had to pit for fuel. Ted into the pits then on the Malted R5L Yamaha. Wood Racing Ducati of George into the pits, and Joe on the VLR Racing Suzuki will also make a pit stop, whilst Alfie will retake the lead of the race while Mogsy heads round the banking. Now it's going to be interesting to see where these guys come out in relation to this trio of Kalen, Charlie and Mason Roth. Charlie's done a great job here to get right up onto the back of Kalen as onto the pitch, well, not straight is it really, and across the line Charlie has overtaken Kalen for that P5. Whereabouts is Ted and George? They're just coming out now, so I reckon, I don't want to say this, I am going to say it actually. Why do I don't want to say it, trainers? These guys are probably, it's going to be close. It's going to be close because here is Ted now in towards that pit exit area. Same for George. Whereabouts? And Ted has done it though. So Ted has kept ahead of these guys. George comes out right in the firing line. But Charlie and Kalen are right there. But Charlie will need to box first. Oh, as he slides the rear end through the dog leg. Here comes Kalen on the Kawasaki. Ooh, that's got to get 3 into 1, doesn't go? Yes, it does, thank you. Oh, no, it doesn't. Oh, down, down, down. We've got Kalen and Mason Roth both hitting the deck there. I do apologise. I probably jinxed them there. My bad. On that one. So it's still Alfie then leading this one on the Wood Racing Ducati. Got a nice advantage now. Maybe could just potentially look to back off that fuel a bit more if he can. Mogsy in a great position there in P2. I'll just take one mistake from Alfie and Mogsy will be right there. Ted in third now. Just got a little bit of advantage over Charlie with George hot on his heels. Ooh, and George there clipping the cone and onto the grass for the number 93 machine. Let's have a look a little bit further down then. We've got Mason Roth in P7. Ducksworth not far behind now as well. So mistakes from any of these three, Ted, Charlie or George, then we're going to have 6 riders battling for that P3. How's Joe getting on in P9? Jamie in P10, a 39.9 for him. Getting down to a good pace. Kyle as well on a 141.7 on the Malted R5L Yamaha. Good stuff from Kyle. Nice to chipping away. This is also good practice for these riders when we go with B-set racing, when it's sprint racing, not to make mistakes. This is how you keep your consistency, to do lap after lap after lap after lap, and you learn just how to stay on the machine. It's very important, because obviously, well, it's just for obvious reasons really, saves a hefty bill, and yeah, other problems. Meanwhile, Charlie's done his personal best lap of the race on that last lap, starting to find some good pace now. 39.7 on lap 9, 39.6 on lap 10, and a 39.2.09 on lap 11. So that SDBG Ducati starting to wind up a little bit now, starting to get on the pace. 39.9 still the best lap that George has set in this one, a 140.2 for Kalen. How's Ducksworth getting on? He just dropped back a little bit there from Mason Roth, so maybe a mistake from Ducksworth. Just dropped off his teammate. What's happened to Kalen though? Because he's dropped off the machine and now down to P8 on the MLD Kawasaki. Still just under 40 minutes left. This order could completely change, can go from, yeah, so he doesn't need to worry. This is the thing with endurance racing. You have a crash, forget it, go again. Keep your head in the game. That's all we say. Ducksworth there goes a little bit wide through the chicane. That will prick the ears up of Kalen. Joe not far behind these guys either. So Joe can just unlock a little bit more pace in that Suzuki, maybe there or thereabouts. We had a mistake from Super Ted. No, we haven't. It's just the speed of the Ducati. Oh, Charlie with a bit of slipstream propels Charlie up into P3. Now this could be the battle for that third place. I would have thought though Charlie's probably going to have to do an extra stop compared to Super Ted and George behind, just looking at the fuel usage. So if I was Ted now, we'd try to just stick on the back of Charlie, try and get in that slipstream, try and work together here, slipstream each other along, just try and gain that time over George, who unfortunately does not have any slipstream for his sake, but he will be closing that gap down on the Wood Racing Ducati. And the second round of pit stops are not far away for the likes of Charlie and Ducksworth. Anybody else? Jamie's now dropped to the back of the pack, and I think that is a retirement for the Red Bull BMW there of Jamie. First retirement of the season, I believe. As we see Alfie now onto the banking. Got a nice advantage there over Mogsy, who has had a couple of slow laps at 44.9 on lap 10, but 45.0 on lap 12. But look at the consistency though of Alfie. 44.8, 39.7, 39.6. If this is a 39.5, they'll be going in the right direction. 39.1. Yeah, he's really going in the right direction there. Here's the number 23, looking very good on this Ducati around this wonderful circuit, the 3.6 mile Daytona motorcycle course. Of course, we saw Alfie last year in B-Sec in the Supersport category. Excuse me, really take the fight to Matt. And just narrowly missed out on the championship. We did win our V2 Cup Championship in B-Sec. Did a cracking job. Did Alfie, one of the strong contenders that we've got here at SDPG. And the second round of pit stops are happening as Ducksworth now boxes, and Jamie has got going again. Must have been Control Alt Delete for Jamie there, but he is back up and running. Fresh tyres for Ducksworth and a full tank of gas for him, and he will be on his merry way very, very shortly. Charlie now still holding on to that P3. Ted still hot on his heels. And what is going on here? Because Mogsy now has made another mistake by the looks of it, because these guys are catching right up to the back of the Kawasaki. This might just be alarming Mogsy a little bit here. Certainly be something for him to think about. He has still got another 2 or 3 seconds over these guys, so he shouldn't get slipstreamed here, but that Ducati's pretty quick, so is the Kawasaki, to be fair. And Ducksworth's not gone for a full fuel tank on that one, so maybe just trying something differently tactically. I like it. I rate it a lot. So we've got Ducati, Kawasaki, Ducati, Yamaha, Ducati, BMW in the top 6. Mason Rock on a 139.5. This is PB lap. There's that similar pace to George, who set his personal best lap on the last lap. 39.8, still the best lap for Super 1, Super Ted. And across the stripe he now goes on 140.1, pretty consistent. Charlie there, 139.191. You can see that carrot dangling in front of him of Mogsy. He's put the hammer down. He has just broken the slipstream of Super Ted on the Yamaha. Good showing from all these guys. And yes, another 144.5 from Mogsy. So maybe he's running into some tyre troubles, maybe. I'm not sure. I think Charlie will be into the pits at the end of this lap. The SDPG Ducati squad will be ready for the number 20. Around the West Horseshoe then. There you go. Mason Rock still in that P6. P7 for Kalen. Again, Joe with great fuel usage. Only done one pit stop as front row Joe in P8, so that might help him a little further into the race. Of course, I'm expecting Charlie to have to do an extra stop compared to everybody else, just with, of course, how much fuel he's used and how early he pitted. Earlier on, Kalen then nearly gives the wall a bit of a headbutt. Says, hurry, mate, to the wall. That's not good. That's not ideal. Sorry, I don't know what happened there, really. Just got carried away. As Charlie now exits the chicane onto the bank. So I love that shot. That is just... That's pristine Daytona. Beautiful. Charlie now heads round the bank. Will he make a pit stop this lap? Looks like he's heading that way. 12% fuel, yes, he will indeed. Into the pits then goes the number 20 for Charlie. Good stint that, though. He made some good progress. So we'll see how he gets on later in the race. So Ducksworth's also pitted. Fresh tyres for the Ducati. Let's Mason Rock now heads into turn number 1 and up into P5 he now goes. It's all pretty spread out at the moment. Alfie with that enormously now. Over Mogsy, and Super Ted has tipped off the Yamaha, and we have lost Jamie from this one, a retirement from the Daytona 100. Such a shame that for Jamie, just didn't quite work out for him in this one, but like a few issues in qualifying, but we will never underestimate the talent that man has, because he's, well, a big set Superbike champion. So we wish Jamie all the best in future events, and we hope to see Jamie back at the sharp end very, very soon. I would have thought Mason Roth will be the next rider into the pits. We just saw there Ted slipping off, and that's now promoted George up into P3. Can he maybe do something about Mogsy in this one? Sorry guys, I'm just keeping that control a bit too close to the microphone there. Look at these lap times though from Alfie. 39.6, 39.1, 39.3, 39.3. Yeah, it's pretty good that, isn't it, really? Fair play then to the number 23. So he crosses the line then, and we're nearly halfway through this race then. As Mogsy rounds the banking. How are them two pretty similar on fuel, I would have thought. Ooh, maybe Alfie's gone for a slightly more aggressive fuel strategy. I don't know. No, they'll be about similar on the fuel. Mason Roth there will just get into the pits without running out of fuel. Charlie has rejoined in P8 on this one. 93% fuel for Charlie, whereabouts are you in relation to everyone else there? Not been the good second stint for Kalen there. Joel's got caught up in a few incidents, but I'm sure he will be fighting back as we go into the second half of this race. Second round of pit stops then are well underway for these guys. Fresh tyres and more fuel for Mason Roth. A shame we can't see the pit stops actually. And Charlie has crossed the line and should be well ahead of Mason. Yep, by the time Mason comes out onto circuit. Meanwhile, Kyle and Ducksworth having a good battle here for P9. Oh, both of them going wide there. Kyle clips are going wide. Ducksworth gone. He's gone to the car park. A new line. I like it. I like the commitment there. I'm good. I promise. And Mason Roth will just come out in front of these guys. That's round turn number 5 then for Charlie on the SDPG Ducati. Quite a bit behind Joe at the moment. Kalen also there as well. Right as we go through the chicane, Alfie goes for one more lap. We'll be boxing at the end of this lap, I would have thought. I think that would be good. Get to the half-hour mark. And that would be good stuff for these guys. That's George now on to pit straight. Look at that rear tyre. Went for a soft rear there. Did George? Who else? Is anyone else? No, no one else has gone for a soft rear, I don't believe. So there we go. And that is that at the moment. It's all a bit quiet. The battles they're going really to the pits as Kalen now boxes from that P5. That looked like a late call there. Fair play, respect that. Will he change the front tyre? Let's have a look. Yes, new front tyre, and he's maybe that's a mistake. He's kept the same rear tyre on that one. So for those of you that aren't aware, what you have to do in the pits, you have to select which tyres you want. Soft, well, on the front you have to do soft and rear. You just have to click on that. There is a button next to it that says skip. So if you do press that accidentally, unfortunately, you will keep the same tyres that you've got on. So let's have a look then at the fuel situation. George is in quite a good shape compared to the guys ahead of him. Might be able to go one lap longer. Ted might be able to go another 2 laps, I would have thought, on the Yamaha. Which will probably see him need to do one more pit stop in this race. He's right on board with the Yamaha. And as you can see, the sun is starting to set now. So is it going to get a little bit dark before the end of this one? That is the question. Time is certainly ticking mine. I would have thought it may get a bit dark, which could, well, that's going to get me in trouble. Is what that's going to do. And here we go. Mogsy then has braved it. And he crosses the line to start another lap. Can he get round on that fuel? Well, we're about to find out then. There we go. Drama in this one then. So Alfie has boxed, but Mogsy stays out. And out onto the circuit then comes Alfie. He'll probably slot in around about George Ted area on the track. Will he be out? And Ted probably not on this one. We'll keep an eye on Mogsy though. Let's see what happens when he gets to 1% fuel. I don't want to watch this. You can indeed, mate. Yep, so we are in spectator mode at the moment. We've got one of the riders to host it, and I've jumped in as a spectator. So far, so good, actually, in terms of... Actually, let's not say that. Let's not jinx it. Let's not jinx it, Seamus. Behave. Right. Ducksworth back into the pits in P7. I'm just very concerned on... Has Mogsy played a blinder, though? Oh, I tell you what, he might have just timed that very well. I'm eager to see what happens there, and I will get my words out without stuttering. I do apologise. I think he's going to be A-OK. Must have dropped that down into rain mode. Just to go one lap longer then. Then Alfie. George will probably be boxing this lap. Ted will be going on to at least another lap. So, same for Joe. Same for Joe. How's Charlie getting on then? Hasn't clawed too much time into Joe, as Mogsy does pit with 2% fuel. Fair play. Oh, fair play. Well done, Mogsy. I didn't think that was going to work out there. And Super Ted does take the lead as George does box, keeping the same front tyre. No, fresh front and rear tyre. Mogsy keeps the same front, fresh rear. Indeed, Scott, indeed, mate. It's looking like we could be in for some progress with this game. With the update that's come today, I think they need to just refine a few things on that. But going forward and looking forward to B-Set. This is why we're also waiting till next year, just to make sure, see what updates happen. Hopefully Race Director Mode comes in. And yeah, obviously the new Superbikes as well at the end of the year. Gives the game time to obviously develop. It's a fresh game, isn't it? Let's be honest, only been out a few months. And they're already producing stuff like this. So where will he be in 3 months? Hopefully we'll be in a very, very good position. Speaking of being in a good position then, Alfie is comfortably ahead of his challenges at the moment. Ted hasn't boxed for a second time, which bodes very well. If he can keep it going for, I was going to say, if he can keep the fuel for 25 minutes, then fair play. That would be good going indeed. Now, George has gone out ahead of Charlie. Oh, Charlie has roped the bike off. I'll send him the bill. He's firing bikes at everybody. Unlucky that for Charlie. Might have just got on the grass there. And there's, well, catapulted his bike there. There's what's happened. We will go for a rundown of the order once the second round of pit stops are all completed. The Yamaha shouting at Super Ted now. Please fill me up with fuel, sir. Please, sir, can I have some more? There we are. Oliver Twist for you. And the Yamaha of the number 34 then, Super Ted, does pit from the lead. And that now relieves Alfie. And into turn of morning goes. And back into that first position. Fresh tyres for Super Ted. Fantastic stuff from him on the fuel. Same for Joe as well, who's not far behind Mogsy actually, so he's done a very good job there. George through the final banking now and across the stripe for him. Where will he come out in relation to Ted? Ted's now heading down pit lane, and we can see Ted on the left hand side. This is going to be very close between himself and George. How's George doing on the fuel? So George has pitted a lap earlier. I think George will get the advantage on Ted there. He will indeed. So George powers past Super Ted. Oh, dearie me, nearly on the grass, man. Damn, George. Sorry, I don't know. It's just, we're in America. Let's do it. Accents are not my strong point, if you've not already guessed. So Ted then has come out quite a bit further behind George than he would have liked. Meanwhile, Charlie and Mason Roth going to have a bit of a scrap here for P5. Kalen is in the pits as well as front row Joe. As look at that, Charlie doing the marshal's job there and clearing the cones. It's right on board then with Mason as we look at the back of the Ducati of the number 20. SDPG Racing Ducati versus KMG Industrial Services BMW. As we're about to go onto the banking, the floodlights may be needed here. It's going to get dark, I would have thought. As around the banking then we go. Charlie a little bit higher up. Mason just taking that title line. Let's have a look then at the lap time between these two. Yeah, 39.1, 39.4. Not too much in the way of difference, but now of course Mason will be able to have a bit of a slipstream. Alfie's burning through a lot of fuel here out front. 68% for him. Mogsy's keeping that at 82. So I wonder whether Alfie's going for one more push on this one to try and secure the victory. Try and get them really fast lap times in. And see what happens a little later on. But in towards the start finish area and across the stripe then for Mason Roth and Charlie. 139.621 from Mason, doing a great job on the BMW. Ducati versus BMW in the battle then for P5. Ted, yeah, Ted's a bit too far up the road for these guys at the moment. Mason going to have a look down the inside. Charlie goes a bit wide. Yep, nicely done from Mason Roth there. Fantastic. Up into P5 for him at the moment. But here comes the Ducati though. Into the dogleg. Thank you very much. Charlie will have a look. Mason will get the cut back. Very good racing. And Charlie has hit the deck once again at the dogleg. That is unlucky that for Charlie. That was proving up to be quite a battle between them two. Not sure what happened there. And what has happened here then? George now down to P4 and Ted up into third place. Interesting. Meanwhile, Mogsy still keeping that P2. Now this is what you need to be expecting, because we've not seen much of Mogsy and Caleb, but the MLD team, Mogsy's done 8 races with us, 4 wins and 7 podiums. Says a lot, really, doesn't it? Moggsy's always going to be there or thereabouts. And same for Caelan, actually. We're not going to... I tell you what, the whole field, there is no slow rider at SDPG. But expect these performances week in, week out from Moggsy. He'll be there or thereabouts. Every race he enters, he's quick. So keep an eye out for the number 54 in future races. Let's go back then to what's happening for third. It looks like George has made another mistake, because Ted has now romped away with this one. Mason Roth now all over the back of George. Maybe a bit of tiredness setting in for the number 93. Couple of mistakes as Mason Roth looks down the inside. George says no thank you, and we'll hold position for now as we go in towards turn number 3. Will Mason have a look here? Yeah, he'll have a look. He'll have a look. George covers the line well. Runs a little bit wide. Mason though just can't quite get the cut back. Up towards the dogleg then, through the left-hander. I think Alfie has had a couple of push laps. We'll go and check the lap times in just a moment. We'll keep an eye on this battle for now. Through turn 5, down goes Mason Roth, loses the front end at turn 5. That is unlucky for the KMG Industrial Services BMW. And the number 36 then, Mr. Nasser, just slips off the BM there. That's just giving George a little bit of breathing space. And indeed, a fastest lap from Alfie there. Sorry, we lost a bit of audio there for some reason. Another glitch in the game. Yeah, 138.933 from Alfie, so he was on a bit of a push. Moggsy now heading up towards the line and across the stripe. 138.810 for him, getting close to his PB. This is a great effort from all these riders. Fair play. This is not an easy contest. An hour of racing, and we're nearly 40 minutes in. Just 20 minutes to go of the SDPG Daytona 100. And let's go for a rundown of the order. At the 40-minute mark then, it is the Wood Racing Ducati of Alfie, who's played an absolute blinder, kept himself out of trouble, and leads this one ahead of the MLD Kawasaki of Moggsy then, with the malted R5L Yamaha of Super Ted in P3. That's 3 different manufacturers in the top 3. On the Wood Racing Ducati, it is George in P4, the KMG Industrial Services BMW, Mason Roth in P5, Charlie in P6 on the SDPG Ducati. In 7th we've got Joe on the VLR Racing Suzuki. P8 for Caelan on the MLD Racing Kawasaki. He's just fallen away from him in these last 15-20 minutes of the race. Ducksworth in P9 on the KMG Industrial Services BMW, and Kyle on the malted R5L Yamaha rounds out the order as things stand on number 11 machine. Good consistent lap times though on those last 3 laps from Kyle. Great effort. Oh, apart from that 145 down lap 20. As Alfie now crosses the line in towards turn number 1 he goes. Nice comfortable advantage, and yes, get your headlights on, chaps. This might be what a dark end to this race. That'll be interesting, won't it? Here we go then. So George onto the banking. Mason Roth will be into the box at the end of this lap. I would have thought. Same for Charlie. I'm guessing the number 20 machine still P6 at the moment. Joe will definitely overtake Charlie as he boxes now. Will he box? I'm sure he will. As Mason now pulls into Gasoline Alley then for the 3rd time this race. Same for Charlie. Lovely stuff. Ducati and BMW. The crews will go to work. Let's just see the strategy. Will Mason change the front? Yes, front and rear tyre change for Mason. Charlie keeps the same front tyre. And we'll dump some fuel in that Ducati. Let's have a look then at the fuel situation out from Alfie on 33%, 46% for Moggsy, so he'll probably be able to do an extra lap compared to Alfie, but if Alfie just keeps it squeaky clean now, it looks a-okay for, well, the treble here at the Daytona 100 for the number 23. But Moggsy though has done a fantastic job. Will it be 3 second places for him? Looking good for the Kawasaki at the moment. It's been a while since we've had some Kawasaki success, so it'd be good to see. And we have lost Ducksworth from this one. Another retirement from the SDPG Daytona 100. Sad to see that from Ducksworth, but great to have him with us, and hopefully he'll be with us at some future events. So Super Ted, oh hey, that's not the right line there, Sunshine. Ted has hit the deck at the chicane, but he has enough of an advantage over George for that not to really hinder him. So in P5 then, Joe just keeping his powder dry, doing a good job. He's ahead of this squabbling battle for P6. Between Charlie and Mason, I reckon these guys are going to have to do a pit stop with 2 or 3 minutes to go. I reckon Joe and Ted will only have to do one more pit stop. I reckon it's about 15 minutes or so for a full tank of fuel to run out, I'm guessing, at this point. Oh, Ted, he's nearly giving himself a headache. That is not good news. In towards then the banking. Look at this from Alfie, sensational stuff. How's Kyle getting on? Is he going... Yeah, he's doing okay. That maybe saving some fuel actually, Kyle. That doesn't sound like it's going quite as quick as the other machines. Look at this from Alfie. Let's have an onboard lap, shall we? Please don't crash now, Alfie. I swear to God, mate, I'll cry for you. Look at this. We've got our pit lane reporter Scott there. Update from pit lane. Ducksworth has technical issues. That's such a shame. That is a shame for Ducksworth. Like we say, really good to have him as part of the series, and we hope to see him at SDPG events in the future. But across the line then, let's talk you through a lap of Daytona then with Alfie with 15 minutes to go. We'll keep an eye on the leaderboard as we go through turn number 1 then with the Ducati. Nicely done. You need to get quite as close as you can to that white line. You can maybe straight line this on a good lap if things are going well for you. Back down to first gear then for the Ducati. Nicely done. Moggsy's box then, everybody. Moggsy in the pits. If he's gone off what I've said, that's very risky, but I rate it. I respect that. So into the pits then for Moggsy on the Kawasaki. If that works, then fair play. And in towards turn number 5 then for Alfie. Nicely done. Double apex there. Stand it up. Don't use too much rear tyre, which he does perfectly. Turn that up to P2, of course, with that Moggsy pit stop. As we go into the banking there, Kyle has just tipped off there and keeps well out of the way of Alfie as he fires now on towards the banking. As through the banking then down towards the chicane for the Ducati. How fast are we going to get up to here? Nearly 200 miles an hour, 197 miles per hour as he hits the brakes. Through the left, through the right. Second gear, patient on the power. Like we said earlier, don't want to get onto the grass there. Nicely done. Just want to keep this as close as you can to the middle / yellow line there on the left as the sun begins to set here at Daytona, and Alfie will need to box here. Let's get the right camera and into the pits comes your race leader. So there we go then. Moggsy into third. Looks like George might have made a mistake. He's now down to 4th, has dropped a long way behind these guys. Ted in second. I would have thought it'd be good for P3. How's everyone else doing then with the fuel? Kyle will have to box very, very shortly. As through the chicane then for the Kawasaki of Moggsy then. So still George in P4. Joe! Whoa! That's a new one. Doing the wall of death. I rate it. Mason Roth still in that P6. Kalen and Charlie now going to have a scrap for P7. Kawasaki versus Ducati. Round the banking then. Ooh, is Kalen going to loot? Look at that from Charlie round the outside. George has boxed as well. George into the pits. Nothing wrong with the speed of the Big Duke. Same for Kalen on the Kawasaki. Oh, just gets that a little bit wrong at the chicane. Very easy to do. Great effort nonetheless from these guys. Alfie has returned to the front of the field after making probably his final pit stop. Someone's left a cone in the middle of the circuit there. Ted tries to do the marshal's job for them as George rejoins the circuit with 12 minutes 40 seconds on the clock for these guys. Out onto the circuit then goes to number 93. Mason Roth might just pip him here into the right-hander. How's Kyle getting on with that fuel? Oh, he pits at just the right time. Look at that. Perfect stuff. Oh, wrong way with the cat. Sorry. I can't help that. I need to get the Xbox controller away from the mic. So how's Ted doing with the fuel? 29%, so he should be able to do, excuse me, another couple of laps. On that one, as Mogsy now through the chicane. It should be a safe second for Mogsy once Ted has pitted. Jose in P4. What a ride that is from Joe. What's happened to George here? Now down to P6. Of course he's boxed. Well done, Seamus. Well done for keeping up, pal. Great effort. Love that from you. I do apologise. It's old age. There we go. George gone for the soft rear tyre there. Just trying to maybe get a little bit of extra grip on the big Ducati. Then through the chicane he goes. And on the power on towards the banking. With just over 11 minutes to go of this one. Then let's go for a rundown of the order. Then it is Alfie leading ahead of Super Ted, Mogsy in P3, Joe in 4th, Mason Roth in P5, George in that 6th position ahead of Kalen in 7th, Charlie in P8, and Kyle rounding out the order as things stand. Kalen will be needing to box probably either this lap or next, so Charlie will inherit that P7 on the road. Ooh, Charlie diving into the pits there for a splash and dash. Not confident he'll get to the end with that fuel, so in the boxes. And we'll go again. George a bit wide there at turn number 3. It's going to be the battle between Mason and George. We head through the dogleg then in towards turn number 6. And it is starting just to really get into night time now. The shadows are getting longer. Here at Daytona, what's the last lap be in the dark? That'll take some adjusting. Good God. As Alfie then crosses the line to start lap 29 of the Daytona 100, and I can tell you we have surpassed 100 miles at Daytona as Alfie there takes a cone to the barrier. Why not? Runs a bit wide at turn 1, but he's got plenty of an advantage for him to do that. So Ted now on to his 29th lap of the race then, and through turn 1 he goes. He's got Kyle just up there, I believe so. Where's Mogsy? Into turn 1 he now goes on the Kawasaki. Good result there for the ZX10. Looks like they've really made some improvements on the Ride 6 platform for the ZX10, both in Super Sport, Super Bike, and also Endurance trim as well. Good to see. I'd like to see some variety in machines, and I cannot just say big well done and a thank you to all the riders and teams, 1 for taking part and 2 for the variety of bikes we've had. We've got a Suzuki, we've got Ducati, we've got Yamaha, Kawasaki, BMW. That's 5 manufacturers, which is just brilliant, and that is what we like to see. As Caleb now boxes from P7, that'll be the final time he's in the pits this race, I would have thought. Can Charlie get the undercut on Caleb? I would have thought so. He's had a bit of a splash and dash there. Soft rear tyre for Charlie and Kyle, also for George as well, who's now up into that P5. Mason Roth has just made a mistake there. Looks like he made a mistake at the dog leg. As Joe rounds the bank in then, about to head down towards the chicane, and Ted will be heading in towards Gasoline Alley for the final time in the Daytona 100. How's Mogsy doing with fuel? Mogsy should be okay to get to the end of this one. We'll keep an eye on that though, as Ted pulls into the pits and the Maltec crew will get to work on the boss's Yamaha. Fresh tyre. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Look at this. Now, this is the benefit of obviously going longer with the fuel strategy. Soft front and rear. Ted's going to go for one last push in the final stint of this race. Then, will he fill the tank all the way up? Yes, he will. Make sure he gets to the end. As front row Joe boxes also for the final time. Will he go for the same strategy as Ted? Soft front, soft rear. No, hard front, soft rear for Joe. So that's quite a bold strategy there from Super Ted. Is he coming out of the pits? He is indeed. Still comfortably in P3, well ahead of Mason Roth. Whereabouts is Alfie on circuit? He's now coming round the first of the bankings, as we have lost Kyle from this one, a retirement from the Daytona 100. Not for the faint-hearted, this one. Unlucky that for Kyle, but a good effort nonetheless. And Caelan has just been lapped there by Alfie. A few issues for Caelan in this one. Not shown his true potential there. That's not through any fault of his own. Just got caught in a few incidents. Unlucky that for number 25. But watch when we go sprint racing. Yeah, that's going to be lively. I can tell you now, Caelan will be at the sharp end with his teammate Moxie and will be up at the front with these guys. As round the banking then for Super Ted in P3. Mason Roth will have to probably come in for a splash and dash at some point. George not far behind the BMW as Joe in P6, Charlie in 7th, and Caelan rounding out the order as things go. As Moxie crosses the line on a 139.4 on that last lap. In towards turn number 1, nicely done. On the number 54, just under 6.5 minutes remaining of the SDPG Daytona 100. Please leave in the comments, guys, what you think of this one. Do you think it's been a success? Do you think it needs any work? What do we all reckon? Because I reckon it's not been too bad, all things considered. It's been quite a good event. Very well turned out, as Mogsy there is, oh dear, had a bit of a whoopsie there. He's done a Charlie, everybody. He's fired his bike at us. What is it with that corner and these riders chucking their bikes at us? We'll let him off. It's been a long race. Yeah, looked like he just clipped the curb there on the inside of the grass and it flung him to the moon and back. Unlucky that for Mogsy, but a safe second place is on the cards for the number 54 machine as number 34 of Super Ted on the Malted R5L Yamaha round. That turn number 5 with the sun really setting now. Comfortable advantage over Mason Roth, who will have to pit again. That's good news there for George, who will inherit that P4. Oh, no worries at all, Kyle. No problem at all. Hope Dad life's treating you well, mate. Thank you very much, Scott, for that one. Hopefully we'll get you in it next time. There we go. So 5 minutes remain. The last 5 minutes now, chaps, and then you can all breathe a sigh of relief. As we go around the final banking with the Kawasaki. Great performances from the MLD Kawasaki. Not surprising, this team is very, very good in all classes. Expect big things from MLD with SDPG in the coming months and years. As we see Moxie now. Round turn number 1 with Super Ted. I think he'd be very happy with this. I think he would have, if we asked him, well, where would you like to finish? Podium would be a good result. I did mention a top 6 to him, and he said he would take that all day long. So podium would be a great result. Just got to keep his head now, just like the rest of them for the last 4 and a bit minutes. As George now inherits P4 and Mason Roth. Boxes for a bit more fuel for his BMW. As Alfie now heads in towards the chicane. What a win this is going to be for the number 23. A dominant display from the Wood Racing Ducati. Last time we saw something like this was actually Yorkshire's top rank. Dylan did something very similar at Cadwell Park, if you may remember back to last year when we ran an endurance event round there. And Dylan, won by over 40 seconds when the weather turned. He made the right call on strategy. Alfie's done a good job of just keeping himself out of trouble. Those look on the right hand side of the screen. Consistent laps, just on 39.7 there. In the mid 39s, bam, 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 bam. Keeping it on 2 wheels and being quick will win you these events. Mogsy though put up a good fight. A few mistakes in this one, a couple of crashes, but racing for an hour, it's to be expected. It is to be expected. Good job from everybody. I will second what Scott has said there. Great performance from everybody. Mogsy crosses the line and heads onto lap 33. Ted now P3, Malted R5L Yamaha. Good to see the Yamaha back towards the front. Ted had a bit of a difficult season 2 of being second in the Superbike class, but I think this is well and truly redemption. He is back, and we know Ted is a front runner here at SDPG, so not where we were expecting him towards the back end of last year, but he's certainly back to his best, I think we'd say, on that Yamaha. Look at that, he did a personal best lap on lap 32. Did Super Ted there, so he's still finding that pace on the Yamaha. George, great P4, did a great job on the Honda in Season 2 of BSEC. on the Ducati here, and well, just showing how well he can ride. Very aggressive in the beginning was George. We saw the elbows out, bodging a few people out the way, not making any friends, but hey, all's fair in love and war. What comes around goes around, I suppose. But yeah, good ride that from George. First and fourth for the Wood Racing Ducatis. Brilliant stuff. Joe on the Suzuki there. Great job from Joe. The only Suzuki out there. He picked a bike that's probably not favourable in any class, to be fair. But Joe has stuck with it, and P5. Solid performance from Joe on the VLR Racing Suzuki. Well done to him. Mason Roth as well. KMG Industrial Services BMW was right there at the sharp end. In the beginning of the race, let's not forget, was running in that battle for third. It was with Ted, with George, with Charlie. It looked like it was going to be a good battle, that one, but a few mistakes from the number 36. Just cost him, but a great result nonetheless from Mason Roth. A difficult second season in BSEC, but hopefully we'll see Mason on the roads with our road racing campaign coming up very shortly. We will see Mason fighting at the front of SDPG races. Charlie as well, again, very similar story to Mason in all aspects. Good road racing rider. Just dropped away from Charlie in this one, but a good showing in the beginning. You can't be disappointed with this one. The end result does not tell the full story of his race. With a minute to go of the endurance, Kalen as well was up in that early fight for that top three position, positions, but he just drifted away. It was that second stint that cost him big time, but still, nonetheless, big respect to all 8 of these riders for getting to the flag. If they all get there, well, they've only got another 30 seconds. That'll be another lap for some of these riders then. Well, what can we say about the number 23? He just loves Daytona, it would appear. On to his final lap now for the number 23 of Alfie. Mogsy should get to the flag with that fuel. Ted comfortably in third. George not too far behind, and it's not gone dark, everybody. It's very close to being dark, but it's not got dark, so that is a-okay. Oh, we've got a late battle here brewing between Joe and Mason. One mistake from Joe, and Mason will be hot on his heels. And now we've lost all the personal best lap times because Alfie has started the final lap of the SDPG Daytona 100. We're going to probably have to rebrand this one. It's been well over 100 miles. But anyway, a great race nonetheless. Great event by Alfie. 2 Supersport wins and is on his way to win the main event. 1 hour of racing, ladies and gents, is about to come to an end. Big respect to everyone that's taken part, including Ducksworth, Jamie and Kyle. Thank you, chaps, for your efforts. Clearly, Alfie's not read SDPG general regulations, but it's been an hour of racing, and none of that. It's about to go dark, everybody. Look at that. Here we go then. On to the banking then for the final time of asking, ladies and gents. I think you'll all agree it's been a phenomenal performance by the number 23. The Wood Racing Ducati is about to take victory in the main event. The SDPG Daytona 100 is going to be won by the Wood Racing Ducati, and Alfie takes the win in the main event. A great result for Alfie there. That is in course. The checkered flag is now out for this one, and Mogsy will finish in P2. Doesn't matter if they don't get across in time. We will count all of them in the results. Mogsy will finish P2 then. Super Ted will finish in 3rd place. George will be P4. Joe will be 5th in this one. Mason Roth in P6. Charlie will round out in P7, and Kalen will be our last finish there. Well done to Mogsy there. He has completed the race. Great effort from all of these guys. And it has now just gone dark, everybody, as the checkered flag is shown. And there we go, ladies and gents. Oh, hang on a minute. What has happened there? Right, okay. We know the results. We know the results. It's okay. It's okay. So, there we go. There's Alfie, Mogsy, and Ted. That is your top 3 ahead of... hang on, I can't see. George, Mason, Joe, Charlie, and Kalen. Hang on. Yep, that's correct. Yeah, fantastic. Woo! Okie dokie, let's go to presenting, and you can all see my mug for one last time. Well done then to all the riders. That's not easy, racing for an hour. There we go. Ted says that was insane. Alfie's gone the best he's ever rode on a bike. Yeah, I can actually agree with that one. Yep. Should we do another hour, chaps? Yeah, there will be some swearing if I said that, so I'm going to leave that lobby now. Well done, chaps. Thank you all for taking part, by the way. It's fantastic to see a full entry of bikes for the Daytona 100. Again, chaps, I would like some feedback as well on this one. Is that an event you would like to be run next year? I know Alfie's going to say yes on that one. So, but well done to all competitors there. That was no easy race. An hour of racing to keep that concentration, not make mistakes. Very, very difficult indeed. And I'd actually like to give myself a pat on the back for not losing my voice. I'm not that far up my own arse. Don't worry. Right, so of course, the winner, Alfie, your bikes will be going in the SDPG Museum. Keep an eye out for that one this week, if you can see by then. There you go, Mason nearly had Joe there at the end. One more lap and it would have been a different story. I do agree on that one, closing the gap down quite rapidly on that one. If you would like to watch some road racing, ladies and gents, I believe Mason Roth will be doing some commentary for this one, 24 Racing Series. We'll be doing the World Road Racing Championship. If you'd like to get involved, give myself or Charlie a message and we'll direct you in the correct direction for that one. If you'd like to listen to a podcast about motorcycle racing, then there we are. Search Paddock to Podium Podcast on YouTube and wherever you get your podcast to have a listen to episode 1. Episode 2 is not far away. Myself and Riley Davis will be covering everything from BSB, esports, MotoGP, etc., etc. So keep an eye out for the episode 2 will be out hopefully next week. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. And one more time, let's have a look at this wonderful screenshot by Kaylin. How realistic does that look? Seriously, that looks the absolute dog's danglies, doesn't it? Really. Fair play to everyone for that one. So there we go. That wraps up. Oh, hang on a minute. Oh, hang fire. Let's get the calendar up, shall we? Okay, so this is what we've got coming up. Our next competitive action is the Speedway. Oh, yes. Guys, I have not forgotten about the Speedway, so I will be getting fixtures out to you this week, and we'll be getting some planning done for that one. 18th to the 19th of May, we'll have week 1's fixture on the 18th, Monday the 18th, and Tuesday the 19th, we'll have week 2. We will go through that. We'll go through that when we get on with the Speedway. Looking forward to that one. Now, expect the Northwest 200 and the Le Mans event to change. That's due to TT commitments. I have a feeling I'm going to lose half of my community over at the TT. We've got Small Track Championship coming up. We've got road racing. We've got endurance. And we've also got an SDPG rally, ladies and gents. The first motorcycle racing rally, I believe, ever to take part in esports. And there we are. Looking forward to getting that one underway in August. And then the first BSEC pre-season test will be in November. And of course, to round out our year, will be the SDPG race of the year. Really looking forward to these events. I really enjoy being on stream, as you guys hopefully can hear through the microphone. It's a fun job. It is fun. As much as I would love... No, I wouldn't like to be out there, actually. Let's forget I said that. I would not like to be out there because my ego could not take the hit. I'm now going to sign off, ladies and gents. Thank you very much for watching and tuning in. Well done to Alfie, and you are more than welcome, mate, for that one. Thank you to all competitors. Again, racing for an hour. I don't envy their task. We've got 4 one-hour races coming up this year, ladies and gents, with our endurance series. So thank you very much for joining me. Sean Derby signing out from Daytona, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks for the first Speedway League events.